This is, oh, hi, first of all. We got to do the pleasantries. Hello. This is not what I prepared to talk about today. And I should set this up a little bit. I talk to myself audibly, pretty much nonstop. Not always. It just depends what kind of mood I'm in. Some people call that crazy. I don't care. I'm not interested in some people. Anywho, and there might be things that are just absolute nonsense, or I'll add on little other things. Sometimes I get lost in the middle of a thought and be like, I'm going to go over here because it's better than over there. Because I get my absent-minded. I forget. Anywho, so I talk to myself a lot. So I'm coming out the door this morning, come into the old shop here, have a smoke or 17. And I gotta explain too. I've been on a little vacation. Took 9 days off for the week of Thanksgiving. I love Thanksgiving. It's the only holiday that I partake in. It's great, I think, to have a day set aside to give thanks that wasn't rooted in paganism, but we'll set that aside for now. Anywho, everybody does as they see fit. So anyway, these 9 days I've been off. So I came out into the shop this morning. I says, well, it's my last day, meaning of the vacation. And there's like, the mental ... And I said to myself out loud, on the planet. Which made me start thinking of, well, if you somehow could know that it's your last day on Earth, what would you do on that day? Now, a lot of people say, well, I'd rob a bank, or I would jump off of whatever, skydive, this and that and the other thing. I started thinking about what I would do with my day. And I was like, well, I'd probably, clean up the shop here a little better. It's getting to be quite a mess. I spent these 9 days, a lot of it, working in the house, getting her cleaned up. The dust is just out of control. Not so much anymore. I did pretty okay at sticking with it. I did get a lot of things accomplished that I wanted to. It was kind of a working vacation, just away from work and doing work for me. So I set about thinking, what would I do knowing it was my last day? And I'd probably clean up the shop. I got into the Black Friday deals with the DeWalt combo kit. I mean, I really went all out on this. Been thinking about it for a long time. Pretty good deal. I got it down to $81.50 per tool. I figured that's about as good as I'm going to get, probably. So then I was thinking, well, it's my last day. I probably ought to charge them batteries up. I'm not going to need them, but the next guy, he would appreciate that. My life doesn't change much if I knew it was my next day, I might take a nap. I don't know. And people say, oh, why would you waste that time? Why are so people scared of death? And I did a video sometime about the fear of death, which I never understood. But then the more I got to thinking about it, it's like, well, what would you do? What else would you do? I don't know. Another thing I find interesting is that, like, when my dad died, I was 12 years old. And I learned at that time that the day after he died, all the cars that went by the house kept going by the house. The sun came out again. Basically, the whole rest of the world just carried on as if nothing happened. And that taught me at a very young age that outside of your very close, immediate circle, it's just another day. I mean, life just goes on. They don't know he died. They didn't care he died. And I don't subscribe to this, the universe, blah, blah, blah. God knew he died, obviously. He picked the date. And, but once you get out of that circle, that immediate, very close circle, it really rapidly declines. Like, there might be pretty close friends that would be like really struck by it. No kidding. What happened? They want to know what led to this, what happened, regardless of age. I do it too. Outside of that, like people that just knew who you were, but didn't really, have a really close connection with you, they're like, no kidding, huh? And probably 30 seconds or so later, just completely slipped their mind. Maybe it might pop up later in the day. I'm just going by my own experience with death. People that I know that have expired now. It's a peculiar thing. But boy, aren't we a presumptuous group. Trouble with that is, you not only don't know what day is your last day, you don't know how long that day is going to last for you. It also struck me that as I'm planning out my day, this is the presumption that I get a full day. And I go to bed at midnight or 1 or whatever time I generally go to bed. And that's the end of it. There's no more days after that. But I have no way of knowing that. I mean, I might die at 2 in the afternoon in a car accident or something, which would be kind of cool. Just boom, and it's over. No lingering, I don't want that business. I don't want some kind of lingering disease, or you just cripple your way down for a year and a half. It'd be terrible. Get it quick. Let's get it over with here. But you don't get a say in that, generally speaking. So as I'm planning out all this crap in my head, well, I'd contact my friends verbally, tell them I love them, which I do anyway, and just how much I've enjoyed knowing them as a person. Those type of conversations get pretty difficult pretty quickly. You start getting choked up. What's going on? Well, I got a letter, from God. It's my last day, so I just wanted to, just want to let you know, and I'm checking out, and I just appreciated your time and knowing you, that kind of thing. I also thought about, a lot of people, you read these little kind of cliche things. Live every day as if it's your last. Nobody does that. Nobody does that. They always live each day as if, well, don't forget next Tuesday you got that appointment. And oh, don't forget to go by the bank on Friday. All this is presumption. You have no way of knowing this is going to happen. You didn't live your day like your last day. You know how I know? Because I see you at Walmart. Ain't nobody wants to spend their last day at Walmart or the doctor's office or the billions of other things that we do that we don't really want to do. My mom died of a lingering breast cancer, and at the portion of the last year she was alive, she didn't file her income taxes. It was kind of the middle finger to, and she may have been just trying to live. I think the cancer also got into her brain. She wasn't paying her water bill and stuff. Totally abnormal for my mother. She paid them bills you got to. But at the end, knowing it was coming, she just either didn't care anymore or didn't have the mental capacity to do those tasks, whatever. It kind of made a little bit of a mess when she died. But we all do things that we don't want to do, and you wouldn't do those things if you knew that it was your last day. So anyway, the little cliche things, we live each day as your last. And then in those, sometimes you'll see nobody ever said on their deathbed that I wish I would have worked more. If I was on my deathbed and I knew it was coming, I'd say that. I could have got a lot more stuff done productively. That's a big thing with me. Production. I wish I would have built my son's shelf that I've been promising him for, 2 years. I have the wood now. I have a good excuse, but I wish I would have done that if today's my last day on earth. I wish I would have built a few more houses while I was younger. This is like secondary stuff at best, stuff that's way down the list. I don't have the deep regrets of like telling my kids that I love them, because I do, and I do it often. Same with friends, about half the family. I got 38,000 siblings, I think I've done a pretty fair job of that, so I wouldn't have those kind of regrets. Even my failed marriage, which is just a horrible ending, I don't really regret that, because without that, I don't get my children. Now, maybe I get different children. Maybe they're better. Kidding. It's just, I have no way of judging those things. What if my old man hadn't died when I was 12? Probably would have ended disastrously. We didn't get along very well. You can sit and second guess and what if, and some people live in that space. You don't understand the childhood I have. You're right, I don't. But that's over. I mean, you can learn from that, or you can glean information from that. That's fine, but you don't have to stay in that space. That was so long ago now. I think everything's different. I don't have those type of regrets, so a deathbed type thing. But again, this presumes I get a full day. I might have said this is my last day on earth, and chuckle, and tripped and bonked my head over the chainsaw over there. And that's it. You didn't get to do any planning. I don't know, the whole thing just fascinates me. I don't even know if I have a point in here. I'm not going to sit here and tell you should live each day as if it was your last. Of course you should, but nobody does. Would you go to work? Hey, I would like to think in a hypothetical thing, I clear out the chainsaw and the junk I got sitting up there, make the room, maybe start building the bookshelf for my son like I promised him, and maybe right at the end ideally right at the end of it, but right in the middle of it I just keel over, or I trip and fall on a running table saw, and that's the end of it. But I ended creating something, building something, being productive, because that's a valuable thing to me. Not everybody's the same. Not everybody thinks that way, and thank God for that. It is the week of Thanksgiving. It's over now, I guess, but I'm still thankful. Try to carry that spirit with me all the time, because, man, if we're going to play the what if game, what if I would have been born as a serf in the Middle Ages, toiling away in the fields, freezing to death in the winter, just barely getting by? What if I didn't have all those hardships? I have a running refrigerator. I have running water. I've been blessed beyond measure. I mean, if you start really thinking about the thing, well, I got a dial on my wall that'll adjust the temperature 2 degrees if I wanted. I mean, that kind of stuff is insane when you really think about it. I got so much. I lived better than royalty 400 years ago. They don't hold a candle to me. I'm the king of my domain. I mean, you can extrapolate all this stuff. The point being is that I'm very thankful for that. I'm very thankful for the people that I've met, the people that have impacted my lives so incredibly in such short periods of time sometimes. Some of them have gotten out of my sphere, and I often wonder what happened to Jaybird. What happened to, we'll just say, Mr. Young, the Indian kid, that 1 year of school. He was the coolest guy. And we had so many laughs and so much fun together. What happened to him? I don't know. Maybe you think about these things, I think a lot more about my own mortality now because I'm getting older. Like I've said many times, there's less days ahead of me than there are behind me, regardless of how you do the math. And I'm not really keen on eating bioengineered food. By the way, check your labels. It's on almost everything now. It contains bioengineered food product. Super. Plastic cheese, just what I needed. That kind of future doesn't interest me. I do have a great sympathy for my children who already are being denied a lot of the things that I grew up knowing. And then to have society try to crap on them all the time, maybe that's a topic for another time. We're getting a little long here. I just thought the whole thing was interesting. If you feel a different way about it, you can put the comments in the comment section or not. I don't know, is anybody watching this stuff anymore? Doesn't matter to me. I'm going to blather either way. I do thank you for watching. I appreciate your time. I'll see you next time. Maybe.